My name is Andy, and this is the most magical podcast on earth. When I'm not on holiday at Walt Disney World, I'm planning a holiday to Disney. And when I'm not planning a holiday to Disney, I'm talking about Disney with other UK fans like me who make the trip to Orlando and the House of the Mouse. So if you too hail Chip and Dale, then this is the podcast for you. Or maybe you're the Disney novice, just maybe thinking about or currently planning your first ever trip to Walt Disney World. And in the minute your plans, well, you feel like a bit of a Dumbo, well, then this definitely is the podcast for you. Every week, I'll be chatting to other Disney superfans from around the UK to share their stories, their tips, and their memories of their magical times. And this week's guest, Louise, on her last trip, found somewhere in the parks that she never needed up till now.
Basically spaces where everything's toned down and everything's calm.
More from Louise, along with some of your Walt Disney World questions, planning tips, and some latest updates from the parks. Everything you need to know to have the most magical journey. And make sure you keep in touch with us. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are at PodMagical. Still got some more of your planning questions coming in, like this one from Louisa, who is quite interested in spending a lot of time at Disney Springs, bit of a foodie. I've heard you mentioned to get from Port Orleans, Riverside and French Quarter, there's a boat. But what about the other Disney resorts? How easy is it to get to Disney Springs? Pretty easy, really. There are buses going from your resort, whichever one you choose. Every resort will have buses to and from Disney Springs. Also, as well, if you're going from the parks, you can get to Disney Springs. You can't get from Disney Springs to the parks. But Saratoga Springs, which is right next door to Disney Springs, you can literally walk there. If that's where you want to get a bus, if you want to go from Disney Springs to a park. But yeah, definitely, there's a lot of great places to eat if you're a foodie. Disney Springs is definitely worth it. Haley and quite a few other people have said as well, when the parks finally do reopen and get back to normal, financially, what do you think is going to be cut? What do you think could be axed? This is $1 million question, and there's no doubt Disney are going to have to make cutbacks. They're going to have to put prices up of things. I think it's things that have not already started are going to be on the chopping line. Things that have even been announced. So I'm thinking the Mary Poppins attraction that was announced at D23 last year. They mentioned this. Mary Poppins is going to have this big new attraction at Epcot. I don't think that's going to happen. Work has not started on that. There's probably been some other things that have not yet been announced that were going to be announced. Things like that. Things that have already started to be built, such as Tron and the Guardians of the Galaxy Rollercoaster. They're so far along, they're going to be finished. Ratatouille's pretty much almost done. They need staff training. Other things, I think a lot of entertainment around the parks. I think there's going to be a lot of cutbacks there, and it's just because they are going to have to do it. And I don't think anybody's going to criticise Disney for doing it. Prices are going to go up. A lot of the streetmosphere is going to come down for the next few years, but these things are going to have to be done. If you've got any more questions, whether it comes to planning or any general Walt Disney World questions, do send them over. Don't forget, we're here with a brand new podcast every Friday to answer them. At PodMagical is where we are, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to be a guest on the show, you want to chat Disney on the podcast, then give me a shout as well. And this week's guest is Louise. So tell me, Louise, why do you love Walt Disney World?
I guess for me, I would say it's the fact that there's nowhere else like it. They advertise themselves as the happiest place on earth, and so far Trade Descriptions doesn't seem to have got them on that one. So it's just the idea that when you go in, the rest of the world doesn't apply. They do such a wonderful job of immersing you into everything that you can just suspend all of your disbelief and all of your worries about everywhere else and just act like a child, like you've got no cares in the world. I love that freedom and innocence of it all.
Now, I usually ask what your favourite memory is, but I'm guessing you've got so many memories because you worked there, you met your husband there, you had your honeymoon there?
I did indeed, yes.
Whoa, where do I start? So when was the first time you went to Walt Disney World?
The very first time I went to Walt Disney World was the very first time I worked there, and I was 12 years old. I went to stage school instead of secondary school, and our school was selected to guest perform in what was Downtown Disney, now Disney Springs, and as kind of, instead of paying us for our performance, they basically gave us a very drastically reduced holiday for our family and friends. So we went over as a group of, I think, 42 performers and our families. And that was my first trip. We spent the first, I think, 2-3 days rehearsing and performing. And then the rest of the 10 nights were ours for our own to enjoy.
Wow. And what made you want to actually work there then?
I think realistically, the first time I went there, it was very much selected by the school. So I didn't really have much of a say in it. It was, if you want to go, then you can go and perform there. And why would you not? And then later on, I think, again, it was just that I had such a good experience working for them the first time. It's very much you have to work hard, but you also get to play hard. And there's really connecting about being a part of that group of people that ultimately I haven't worked with Disney now for I think 10, 15 years, and there's a group of cast members I used to work with, and every single year we all make it a point to meet up and have a Christmas party, even though none of us have worked there for more than a decade. The relationships you build, there's a real sense of connectivity, there's a real sense of family that you get for being part of something like Disney. They really managed to get you to bond in that way, which is brilliant.
So people are going to be shouting at the podcast now going, ask her what she did. What did you do?
So I worked in this country. I worked in Disney Store UK, and I also worked for the Disney Store special events. So most of the time it was just day-to-day working for the Disney Store. But whenever they did private shopping events or celebrity events and things like that, I princessed up.
I don't think we're allowed to say any more then, are we not?
No, not really.
No. Which of the princesses were you friends with?
I was friends with lots of different princesses. We didn't often get to spend as much time with each other as we would have liked to. There was usually only one or two of us at any particular party.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where did you meet your husband then?
Yep, it was Disney Store, and he was at uni and doing it part-time on the weekend, that kind of thing, while he was studying, and I was doing more of the event side of things. But yeah, that's how we met, working for the Disney Store 12, 13 years ago now.
And in terms of Walt Disney World, how many times have you been on holiday there?
Let me work this out. 5.
It's so many you can't remember.
No, it's 5. It's 5. Yes.
It's 5. And have you been with your own children?
Not yet. We were planned to go last October. Unfortunately, we were planned to go with Thomas Cook, and they went into administration 7 days before we were due to fly. Did
you get all your money back for that?
Yeah, we've all gone, and it's allowed us to rebook for this year. So this year we are headed off in September, and the autumns are my favourite time to year to go. So although we could have rebooked for earlier on, I think that's like a really good time for me to take my children for their first time. I think it's nice. The weather's mostly good. The parks are a bit quieter for taking smaller children. There's less queues, but equally they get to see all the Halloween and the autumnal magic as well, which is my favourite time of year.
So have you started planning what you're going to do day by day?
Definitely. We did our dining reservations. Yes, we've started that. And it's been really lovely getting the kids involved. They've kind of sat there and talked about their must-dos. My 6-year-old, bless his heart, I think has probably gone through every single menu on the My Disney Experience app. And
he's gone through the menu?
He's a foodie, that one. He well and truly is a foodie. He's gone through the menus and figured out what he wants to eat as to whether or not it's a restaurant worth visiting.
Fair enough. Let him make the decisions. So have you got a particular favourite restaurant?
I do. My favourite restaurant is actually Jiko over at Animal Kingdom Lodge, one of the signature dining restaurants there. Yeah. The first time we tried it was actually on my honeymoon. We were staying at Animal Kingdom Lodge for honeymoon. We decided to eat there, and I think the atmosphere is just incredible. It's really intimate. It's really welcoming, and the food just is a bit of a step away from kind of standardized theme park food, but it's not kind of traditional, inverted commas, like fine dining. You still feel like you're experimenting, trying something new, being a bit more open-minded. And I just think there's something so lovely about Animal Kingdom Lodge that somehow you're in the immersive environment of being in Disney World, but yet it doesn't quite feel like Disney World all at the same time.
Would you say that that's your favourite resort to stay at?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. For exactly that reason. You can kind of leave the parks behind and have a rest, but still feel like you're completely detached. I think they've done a really good job of balancing the immersive nature without being, Mickey Mouse overload.
Is that where you're going to be staying in September?
No, we are actually in Port Orleans, Riverside. in September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's another one of my favourites for mostly the same reason. It's just a bit calmer, bit of a change of pace.
Which restaurants have you gone for this time round with having kids? I'm guessing Jiko's not on the list.
Oh,
no signature dining with 3 kids.
Jiko is on the list. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My kids they're quite adventurous eaters. So there's a lot more character meals, obviously, on let's say on the menu this time. Yeah, but we're trying not to go with the really obvious ones. So we're avoiding Chef Mickey's and things like that. I think we're doing Tuska House over in Animal Kingdom.
It's one of my favorites.
We are doing I can't remember what it's called, the breakfast with Rapunzel and Flynn, because again, my son sat there and went, we can't just go see princesses, we have to find some princes as well, otherwise it's not fair. Obviously, first trip with the children, I've got 2 girls, 1 boy. There's Cinderella's Royal Table on there for the tail end of the trip. They have been told as kind of way of behavioural incentive that only really well-behaved children, so true princesses or true heroes, get an invitation to Cinderella's Royal Table. It's not something you can book. You have to be invited. And if their behaviour isn't that of a true princess or a true hero, then they're just not going to get to go.
That's great. You've got 5 months of blackmailing now that you can use.
Well, that's the plan.
Yeah, and then when you get back in September, you can threaten them with Christmas. Oh, you've got it sorted out. Absolutely sorted out. We'll chat some more in just a sec. We'll find out how the planning is going for your next trip. Usually every week on the podcast, we'll do a regular news update of what's going on at Walt Disney World. Obviously, over the last few weeks, there hasn't been anything going on. The parks are still closed until further notice. So make sure for the official word on opening and their plans, make sure you do follow the official Disney Parks app over on Twitter. They will give you the first and the best news. But I thought we'd do a little bit of an update this week on what has been going on since we last did a news update. You might have seen over just the last couple of days ago the Orange County Task Force, the Orange County, which is where Walt Disney World is mostly based. They published some guidelines for the reopening. So some of the things that they suggested, including social distancing and spacing for guests, wiping down ride vehicles, parks firstly opening at just a 50% capacity, face masks for cast members over 65 encouraged to stay at home. You might have also seen Disney resort hotels encouraging online check-in, so you don't actually have to go to the reception. Those are just some of the guidelines that have been announced. Obviously, Americans are going to get to go to the parks first whenever they do open. Here in the UK, even though the parks are taking bookings now from the beginning of June, here in the UK, obviously it depends when we are allowed to fly into America and when we are allowed to fly out of the UK, which may be some time yet. Things have been still going on though over at Walt Disney Works. The parks may be closed to guests. There's not a lot of construction going on, but there's still some other things going on. So for example, landscaping, they need to still keep the gardens and the parks clean and tidy to get rid of weeds and things like that. In fact, over at Epcot, the privet hedges for the Flower and Garden Festival have still been maintained and kept. The Flower and Garden Festival opened 10 days before the parks closed, so they only got to see just over a week of the public. Meanwhile, the flag ceremonies over at Magic Kingdom, they do the flag retreats every day when the American flag comes down. They're very patriotic, so that still continues with some of the security people who are still in the parks doing that. Over at Animal Kingdom, obviously the animals still need to be looked after, and there's been quite a few births. I know there's a little baby zebra that was born. Away from what's been going on in the parks, a little bit of other news that came out a few weeks ago, but it's gone very quiet again. The Christmas parties, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, if you're looking to go and maybe reschedule for November, December, you think, we'll go to a Christmas party. There was a day when the parties went on sale, the dates, the prices were all announced with a big price increase. So from the 8th of November to the 22nd December, there were the dates scheduled for the Christmas parties. Ticket prices varying for adults from $105 for the cheapest to $155 for the more expensive. These were announced a few weeks ago, and then pretty soon after that, they were taken down. So whether they are going to be changed or whether the Christmas and Halloween parties may not be happening, who knows? As I say, we'll do our best every week or every few weeks just to keep you a little bit updated with what's going on at Walt Disney World, but make sure you are following the official Disney Parks blog for the official word from Disney. This week's guest is back, Louise. Okay, then let's find out. Favourite attraction, what is it?
It changes every trip. Every time I think I've got a favourite, I go back and then I enjoy something in a really unexpected way. So I used to really love Rock 'n' Roller Coaster. The soundtrack, the speed, the day glow lighting on the inside. That was very much my favourite. But then I've kind of found myself going away, and then I came back, and Expedition Everest very much took over. I love the views right when you get to the top, and the fact that when you're going backwards you could swear you're going upside down, even though you know it's not possible. And then bizarrely, having not been in a few years and coming home, I'm finding myself looking forward to things I didn't really expect. So I'm bizarrely really looking forward to going on the Haunted Mansion and real old classics like Big Thunder Mountain and things like that. Real kind of good classic Disney, which aren't necessarily the big thrill ticket rides, but actually they're the ones I find that I'm missing the most, the ones I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, when you've not been for a while. Because I've been watching the Imagineering story on Disney Plus, and that's kind of like given me a greater appreciation for things like that, and the Tiki Room, and the real classic Disney attractions.
I also think I've gotten a much more parental sense of humour. So in a way, like I didn't used to love a good dad joke now, and I think the Haunted Mansion and things like the Jungle Cruise are full of them, and massively underappreciated when you're younger.
In terms of planning, now you're going with 3 kids. Has that affected how you've planned and what you've done when?
Yeah, my husband and I, whenever we've gone before, or my family with like my siblings before then, it was very much a sleep in, late breakfast kind of brunch sort of thing, and then stay in the park till close. I'm very lucky. I've only ever stayed on site, so we've always had extra magic hours. And so if you were younger and childless, the idea of staying in Magic Kingdom till 1 o'clock in the morning isn't intimidating. It was fantastic, and it's quiet. And this time, obviously, there I have no chance. My children are going to be 2, 5 and 7. There's no way they're staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning, but they probably will be up for a few hours after that. So I think instead we're planning a lot more on rope dropping and taking rests after lunch. I think we've very much, even where we've planned full days to be within the parks, we've kind of we're not booking any fast passes for too late in the afternoon, so that we've got time to kind of go back to the resort, have a rest, have a nap if needs be. And in a way I never noticed before. I didn't even realise they existed. I found myself knowing where the baby rooms are in every single park. So every single park has a baby room, which has changing facilities. It's got places to warm baby food, baby milk, but they've also got really calm rooms for nursing mothers, and just basically spaces where everything's toned down and everything's calm. So even though my older one's probably a bit too old for that, my 2-year-old won't be. So the idea that every single park has these places for respite and calm within them, I now know where they are in a way I didn't have any idea about before. I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah, because you didn't need to, I suppose.
Exactly, no.
So what's your one Disney must do, the one thing you're really looking forward to when you go back?
Oh, Dole Whip. It's such a small thing. It's such a small thing. And I know that it's kind of, when you're over there now, it's available in different flavours and different forms all over the place. But there's just nothing like it over here. It's so refreshing. The flavour's so good. And yeah, it sounds like a really strange thing to miss, but I find it's synonymous, like flavour and smell-wise, with being in Disney World. I'm really looking forward to it.
I want Dole Whip now. You've made me crave it. Anything else outside Disney that you like to do in Orlando? Have you discovered any more of Orlando or Florida?
Shopping. Although that's nowhere near as good now as it used to be. Back when the dollar rate was really friendly.
Oh, tell me about that.
Oh, I used to go over there with a pretty much empty suitcase and just top up your wardrobe while you're out there. But that's it's not quite the same anymore.
No, unless you come back with an empty purse as well.
Yeah. The other thing I've really enjoyed doing while I'm over there, and I actually don't know if it still operates, to be honest with you. We went to a dinner show called Dolly Parton's Dixie Stampede.
It's no longer there.
No!
It's not there anymore.
My
we mentioned
goodness.
it right at the beginning of the year. We had a guest on who we were talking about that.
Yeah, I haven't looked it up because I didn't think my kids would sit still through it. But oh my goodness, it was so much fun.
So cheesy, wasn't it?
Oh, exactly. And there's also just stuff that you just don't see over in this country. Like, I don't think I've ever seen ostrich racing before, and I don't think I'm ever likely to see it again. But there was just something really fun about it.
Only Dolly could bring us something like that.
Oh, well, she does sit there and say it's really expensive to look that cheap. And, that show, that was the pinnacle of it. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's still in other parts of America, but just the one in Orlando's not there anymore, because that was right by where the outlet was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was right across the road from the outlet.
But I mean, I think a lot of the dinner shows out there they're of a similar vein. They're really nice to kind of do outside of Disney. You still get that kind of theatricality. You still get that fun, that excitement in something you just wouldn't do at home. It's a proper holiday thing to do, because it's not as if you're going to sit there on a Saturday evening, you know, with your kids in the home and go, do you know what, let's just go and eat our dinner on massive benches and watch some people do some crazy stuff. It just doesn't happen. It's not very British, is it?
What about Hoop-de-Doo over at Disney? Maybe you could go and do that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Wilderness Lodge, maybe you could get in there. I've never done that myself, but a lot of people say it's like one of the best things to do at Disney. And I think it's the longest running dinner show in the world.
Wow.
Or at least America. So, well, enjoy your trip in September.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure it will be magical and well worth the wait after what happened last year.
Oh, definitely. But when we found that out, my poor 4-year-old at the time, she'd already packed.
Oh no!
Her princess dresses were in the case, but instead we took them out when we found out. We took them out for dinner, and we decided to turn it into a celebration. So we celebrated the fact that she would be tall enough to go on more rides, and we celebrated the fact that now they could help with more of the planning. We just turned it as much as we could into a real positive, that it was something we could celebrate, that it was something the best things come to those who wait and all that sort of thing. And we think we've spun it quite well.
I think you did good. And now you've still got it to look forward to. And I'm guessing Fast Passes in a few weeks' time, couple of months' time?
End of July. To be honest, I don't think it's really what I want that's going to come down to it. Now he's done the food, I imagine that's my 6-year-old's next task, and he'll just come to me with a list.
Do the fast get these. Well, have a great time in September. And for now, have a magical day.
And you, thank you.
If, like Louise, you just love talking about Walt Disney World, as soon as somebody starts you off on Walt Disney World, there is no shutting you up. If you would like to chat on the podcast one week, we're always looking for new guests. You don't need to come into the studio. You just do it from the comfort of your own home. Don't worry about the technological part and how. We will sort that out. But if you want to come on the podcast one week and share your experiences, your stories, your memories, your top tips, talk about your favourite rides and attractions, then just give me a shout. We are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at Pod Magical. Just let me know they fancy you coming on the podcast for a guest, and don't forget to make sure you're following us across all the social medias. This week's top tip of the week this week, if you are planning to go to one of the after hours parties, particularly at Magic Kingdom. So if you've got a ticket for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, then you know that the party starts at 7 o'clock at night. However, you can, with the ticket, get into the park before. So between 4 and 7, before the official party starts, is that 3 hours where regular park guests can come in, and if you've got the party ticket, you can go in as well. Well, did you know in those 3 hours, you can actually book fast passes? So if you do it early enough, your 3 fast passes, if you're not doing anything else at any other parks the rest of the day, why not book 3 fast passes for in the 4 hour, the 5 hour and the 6 hour? You can use your 3 fast passes in that 3 hour window just before one of the parties. You can't book fast passes once the party started. So from 7 o'clock, once the party started, all the rides, they're just regular standby queues, and they are a little bit shorter. But you have got 3 fast passes to use every day, and you can book them in before the parties with your party ticket. That's my top tip of the week this week. If you have got a top tip of your own, let me know. Either give me a shout on the socials, or if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, why not give us a 5-star review, because we always love a 5-star review. Give us a 5-star review, and instead of leaving a comment, leave one of your top Disney tips. Why not do it that way? If you have left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. It really does go to help let people know that we're out there, especially people who love talking about Walt Disney World. So if you could, leave us that 5-star review. It'll be brilliant. And of course, make sure you have subscribed, whether it is on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, however you get your podcast. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've got a brand new podcast coming out every Friday. And until next time, please stand clear of the doors.